I have to take care of this truck because this truck takes care of me. And it's a partnership, and that's why I take care of it.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely days up there that it seems like the road is pissed off at you and it's going to get you one way or the other.
It's hard to say that exact moment that I decided I wanted to be a trucker. I remember deciding it and then trying to work toward it, and I'm
completely ready for it.
You don't think it's that cold, and therefore you're out doing stuff, and gets frostbite that way quite a bit.
Frostbite? I've had every part of my body frostbitten.
They faced the world's deadliest roads. But what happened after the cameras stopped rolling was far more dangerous. From heartbreaking deaths to shocking arrests, the legacy of ice road truckers has taken a darker turn in 2025. For years, these men and women defied the frozen wilderness, risking everything to deliver vital goods across sheets of ice barely strong enough to hold a truck's weight. Their stories became legends, their courage unmatched. But as the fame faded and reality set in, the line between heroism and heartbreak blurred. Behind every roaring engine was a human story, and behind every camera frame was a truth that not all of them would live to tell. When Ice Road Truckers premiered on the History Channel in 2007, it was unlike anything viewers had seen before. It wasn't about actors or scripts. It was raw, real, and deadly. Millions tuned in each week to watch these rugged truckers challenge the frozen highways of Canada and Alaska, hauling supplies over fragile lakes where a single mistake could mean death. The sound of cracking ice became the show's chilling heartbeat, and the drivers became household names, unsung heroes of the Arctic. But fame has a way of changing everything. For some, it brought opportunity and pride. For others, it became a heavy burden that would follow them long after the engines stopped. As the cameras rolled season after season, few could have imagined that years later, several of these brave souls would meet tragic ends, some in accidents, others in ways that would leave fans in disbelief. Among the first to capture the audience's heart was Darrell Ward, a man whose determination and grit symbolized everything Ice Road Truckers stood for. Darrell wasn't just a trucker. He was a legend behind the wheel, known for his calm under pressure and his fierce loyalty to those he worked with. He had dreams of building his own show, of exploring plane recovery missions after his time on the ice. But in August 2016, tragedy struck. While flying to film a new pilot episode, Darrell's plane crashed near the Rock Creek Airport in Montana. He was only 52 years old. News of his death sent shockwaves through the Ice Road Truckers community. Fans around the world mourned the man who had faced down storms and sub-zero temperatures only to be taken in the open sky. His co-stars spoke of him as a brother, a man whose laughter, strength, and courage could light up the darkest of days. Even today, fans revisit his episodes and leave messages of love, keeping his memory alive on the icy highways he once conquered. Another driver who became a fan favorite was the spirited and fearless Maya Sieber. She was one of the few women to take on the ice roads, and her determination inspired countless viewers. Maya's journey wasn't just about surviving the cold. It was about proving that she belonged in a world dominated by men. But life after the show wasn't easy. The fame that once lifted her up began to fade, and reports surfaced over the years about her struggles adjusting to life away from the spotlight. Though not all details are public, whispers of personal battles and emotional hardship have followed her story. A reminder that reality TV fame doesn't always come with a happy ending. While Maya remains quiet today, fans hope she found peace and stability away from the harsh roads and harsher lights of fame. And then there was the unforgettable figure of Alex Debogorski, the wisecracking, big-hearted veteran who had been trucking long before TV cameras ever found him. Alex became a symbol of resilience and humor in the face of danger. But even he wasn't immune to the passage of time. In recent years, his health became a concern for fans as he faced age-related challenges and limited his appearances. Though Alex remains alive, his once indestructible persona now feels distant, a sobering reminder that the heroes of Ice Road Truckers were never immortal. The ice takes its toll on everyone eventually, For many, watching Alex grow older feels like watching an era slowly fade into the snow, a time when men like him defined toughness, loyalty, and spirit in its purest form. Some of the most haunting stories, however, belong to those whose lives took darker turns, not through tragedy, but through choices that led them far from the icy roads they once ruled. Art Burke, another fan favorite, became known for his colorful language and fearless driving. But years after the show ended, reports emerged that Burke had been arrested for his involvement in illegal activities, including the possession of substances he allegedly tried to manufacture. For fans, the news was devastating. How could one of their heroes end up in jail? But in truth, it spoke to a deeper reality of the show's legacy. Many of the cast members weren't celebrities at heart. They were working-class people suddenly thrown into fame and attention. When the show ended, the cameras left, but the spotlight's shadow remained. Burke's downfall wasn't just a personal failure. It was a cautionary tale about what happens when the thrill of danger becomes the only way someone knows how to live. Then there's Steve Hillstrand, remembered by fans for his appearances on the show's early seasons. He and his brothers Hugh and Alex were known for their camaraderie and dedication. The Hillstrand brothers were practically ice road truckers royalty. But tragedy struck their family when Steve passed away in 2020 after a battle with cancer. His death was quiet, dignified, and deeply mourned by those who remembered his kind heart and steady presence on the ice. The Hillstrands had always been symbols of the show's brotherhood, men who lived by loyalty and family. Losing Steve was like losing a part of that brotherhood forever. His passing reminded fans that even the strongest among us are vulnerable, that even legends can fade quietly into the night. And of course, there was Hugh the polar bear Roland, the no-nonsense, larger-than-life personality who gave ice road truckers its edge. Hugh was tough as nails, famous for his short temper and relentless drive. But behind the wheel, he was one of the best, a true master of the ice. After leaving the show, however, his life took a tragic and complicated turn. In 2014, Hugh was involved in a severe truck accident that left him seriously injured. He filed a lawsuit against the show's producers, claiming that the crash happened because of unsafe filming conditions. Though he survived, the ordeal left him permanently scarred, both physically and emotionally. Once a symbol of invincibility, Hugh became a man haunted by the price of his fame. Fans who once saw him as unstoppable were heartbroken to see how quickly that life of danger could take everything away. Each of these stories, whether of death, downfall, or survival, tells a part of what Ice Road Truckers truly was. Not just a TV show, but a reflection of human endurance and fragility. The ice roads were dangerous, yes, but they also represented something deeper. The thin line between success and disaster, courage and fear, fame and obscurity. For the drivers, every journey was a gamble with nature, and for some with their own demons. As the years have passed, the stories of those who didn't make it remind us that the danger wasn't left behind when the engines were turned off. It followed them into their lives, their relationships, their futures. Fans have never forgotten the people behind the wheel. Online forums and fan groups continue to share tributes, memories, and messages of love. Photos of Darrell Ward, clips of Alex Debogorski laughing through a snowstorm, or the fierce determination of Lisa Kelly, they circulate endlessly, preserved like relics of a time when reality TV felt real, raw, and human. Lisa Kelly, one of the few cast members still active, remains a symbol of strength and perseverance. Even she has spoken about the emotional toll of the job, the loneliness, the isolation, the constant threat of death on the road. In many ways, she represents the last torchbearer of that era, a reminder of both the beauty and the brutality of the ice road. By 2025, the legacy of Ice Road Truckers has become something greater than a TV show. It's become a memorial to courage, to sacrifice, and to the human cost of chasing something extraordinary. The drivers who once battled the frozen wilderness now exist in the collective memory of those who watched them risk their lives week after week. Their stories remind us that behind every engine's roar was a beating heart, and behind every frozen mile was a person who dared to face what most of us never would. Some found peace, some found tragedy, and some lost themselves entirely. In the end, Ice Road Truckers wasn't just about ice or trucks. It was about people. About the fight to survive in a world that demands everything and gives little back. The ones we've lost, Darrell Ward, Steve Hillstrand, and others, live on in the frozen highways they conquered. The ones who fell from grace remind us that danger doesn't end when the ice melts. And those who are still with us carry the weight of those memories, the ghostly echoes of engines that once roared across the Arctic night. As the years roll on, fans continue to ask, was it worth it? Was the fame, the danger, the adrenaline worth the price they paid? Maybe that's a question without an answer. But one thing is certain. Ice Road Truckers gave the world a glimpse into a kind of courage that most will never know. It showed us that heroes can come from the unlikeliest places, from behind the wheel of a truck, alone in the dark, on a road made of ice and fear. And though many of them are gone, their stories remain etched in the cold, eternal silence of the North. Because legends never truly die. They just fade into the snow, leaving behind tire tracks that time can never erase. Lisa Kelly's story stands as one of the few glimmers of hope left from the icy legacy. She was young, fearless, and determined when she joined Ice Road Truckers. A lone woman among men who had spent their lives mastering danger, Lisa had something to prove, not just to the world, but to herself. Through every frozen lake crossing and near-death moment, she carved her name into television history. Fans admired her humility, her grace under pressure, and her quiet strength. Yet what few realized was how deeply the experience would shape and scar her life long after the cameras stopped rolling. In interviews, Lisa often spoke about how hard it was to return to normal life. It's not easy to go from risking your life every day to just staying still, she once said. You start to miss the fear. That statement alone reveals something powerful, the haunting addiction to adrenaline, the strange emptiness that follows when the danger disappears. For Lisa, every trip across the frozen wilderness carried a kind of spiritual weight. She learned to listen to the silence of the tundra, to respect the sound of cracking ice beneath her tires, to trust her instincts in places where no one else could save her. But as years passed and the show's lights dimmed, Lisa faced another kind of battle, one of identity. She had become a symbol, a role model for women everywhere. But inside, she was still a trucker, trying to make a living, still haunted by memories of the road and the faces she'd lost along the way. In 2025, fans still reach out to her, sending messages of love and gratitude. Some thank her for showing them that courage has no gender. Others just thank her for being real, for crying on camera, for getting angry, for showing that toughness isn't about never breaking down, but about getting back up every single time. Lisa has often spoken fondly of her fallen co-stars, Darrell Ward in particular. They had a bond built on mutual respect, two warriors of the ice who knew what it meant to live on the edge. When Darrell died, Lisa was among those who took it hardest. In a rare emotional moment, she reflected on what his loss meant, saying, "He wasn't just a trucker. He was family. We all were." That sense of family, forged through exhaustion, fear, and mutual dependence, was what made Ice Road Truckers so powerful. It wasn't just about hauling cargo. It was about people surviving together in a world that didn't care if they lived or died. And that's what fans continue to connect with, even years later. The emotional weight of the show has only deepened over time. Watching reruns in 2025 feels almost like watching old war footage, faces of the brave, captured forever in moments of courage. Each icy crossing, each blizzard battle carries a sense of finality now, because viewers know how many of those faces are gone. When Darrell Ward's truck rumbles across the ice in an old episode, it's impossible not to feel the ghost of his legacy behind it. When Steve Hillstrand's laughter echoes through a scene, it's tinged with the sadness of knowing he's no longer here. Even the once fiery Hugh Rowland, whose larger-than-life persona dominated early seasons, now appears as a tragic figure in hindsight, a man who flew too close to danger and paid dearly for it. Reality television often sells itself on adventure, on danger, on thrill. But Ice Road Truckers was never just entertainment. It was a glimpse into a life most people could never endure. And as the years passed, that life took its toll. The fame came quickly, but it didn't last. When the show ended, many of the truckers returned to obscurity, their brief brush with celebrity replaced by the harsh reality of making ends meet. For some, that adjustment was unbearable. Fame had given them purpose, and when it was gone, it left behind a silence even deeper than the Arctic night. Art Burke's story stands as the most painful example of that fall from grace. From the thrill of television stardom